Shalom. First of all, I'd like to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakatash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and apostles of great millstone, likewise, brothers, but not this true. Faithfully fair to see feet, the sheep, and deep brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson is titled, Be Not Distracted. Now, many of the brothers are working in businesses or maybe even own their own businesses in which you are engaged with a lot of the people that are in the world. And as we know, the people that are in the world are blind and they live in darkness. But you also have those times where you know those old spirits, those old demons, poke around in your head. They're trying to give you that guilty pleasure, as if you're missing something out of this world. And these are the things that we fight sometimes in this truth. But being grounded, and having the Spirit of the Lord dwelling inside of us, we know that these are things that is part of the walk, as we make our journey towards the end, in which we will be given a crown of life. Let's go into the first book here. This is the book of 1 John 5, and starting with verse 3, it reads, For this is the love of power, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. Okay? And some of the basic ones that we can think of is, do not commit adultery, worshiping other gods, idols. That's a form of adultery, because we are the woman of the Mashiach. Also, the physical adultery, engaging in, sex with other men's women, the flirtatious environment that you might be in at these businesses. You might be in a position where people might admire, your accomplishments or what you do. But it's just only a means to move forward, pay your bills and do things while you are walking in this flesh. Okay? But we have to keep those commandments not to engage in those things. Don't eat the abominable food. You might be at an event, where they're celebrating success, for a rollout project or something like that. And you're going to see a lot of these abominable food around, and people are, hey, why don't you try this and try that and try that, and not even for a moment can you slip up to offend the Lord Yahweh Shai. So we always have to be on point, always constantly thinking, constantly in our head that we are being watched by the Lord Yahweh Shai. Says, for whatsoever is born of power overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. Who is he that overcometh the world but he that believeth that Hamashiach is the son of power? And this is why we always put the Hamashiach forefront, because it is him that is the Redeemer. It is him that we have to go through to plead our cause to the Most High Yahweh Shai, who is going to be bringing judgment very soon, okay, to the people on this earth. And we want to escape those judgments. Let's go into the book of Colossians 4, and starting with verse 5, and it reads, Walk in wisdom towards them that are without, redeeming the time. The time that we're in right now, our people are desperate. They're looking at everything falling apart, in their life, and they've put 100% of their soul and their mind and their spirit into material things here, into looking good. They have that spirit of Esau, that pride. You're driving in your car and people are always in a rush. They'll blow their horns behind you. They'll give you the finger. They'll curse at you. People walk in constant, in a spirit of violence constantly. And sometimes, you might think in yourself, I could crush that fool in a matter of 15 seconds. These are things that kind of come in your head, but you always have to remember, these people don't have wisdom. They don't have any hope in reality. They don't have the hope that we have. We have the hope of the hopeful elect. We know that there's something better. despite the fact that we're at the bottom, we're despised, really we're really a showpiece, if we're of any use to any of these other nations, in particular Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man. They might shake your hand, give you a plaque, put your picture up on the wall, give you a reward or a bonus. But at the end of the day, that's just about it. So you just grin and bear it, and you just smile, because they have no clue what is about to take place here in Great Babylon, America. It says, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer every man. So I was saying it yesterday in camp, this time you approach, what are you going to do in 5 years? And you really want to tell them, like, there is no 5 years. You might not even have a tomorrow. The Lord is bringing judgments daily, and especially to people who think that they are going to continue on in a wicked lifestyle with no consequences. Well, you're the real true bug out. Okay, this is the book of Matthew 24, starting with verse 36, and it reads, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So the Mashiach is letting us know he doesn't know when he's going to return. Only the Father knows. So you have to stay put, stay busy, stay working, stay serving, be vigilant. It says, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And they knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So also the coming of the Son of Man be. So it's going to be a surprise. I notice the word flood. Okay, when you think of a flood, you think of something that's coming in a big wave, gushing, inescapable. And this is what's going to take place. The situation that you're seeing right now in Great Babylon, America, with hard times and the tariffs and food prices, and different parts of this country you go into. I mean, the same item can cost $3 or $4 more than another part of town. That's nothing in comparison to what is going to be coming on this wicked kingdom. Okay? Keep in mind that the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is very displeased with the ways of Esau and his wicked works. And he's very displeased with the evil kingdom, which is Great Babylon, America, which we know there's going to be a very, very heavy judgment on this place in the form of plagues and then utter and complete destruction. So you don't be caught up in all of this special effects and lights and cameras and people having a good time and boasting of themselves because they're not feeling the pressure of poverty like others are. They think you're one of them, so to speak, as far as, in the environment, you're not eating out of the garbage, like others are. So they might, just give you that kind of phony, fake smile and, bump into you as if, they're trying to really do their best and make you feel equal to them, which is so laughable. It's like, we're not equal. You're lost. I have found something, okay, that gives me hope and a reason to even live, okay, and that is salvation. Okay, let's go into Matthew 24, again, continuing. And this is starting with verse 46. It reads, blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. That's his work, doing his work no matter what. Verily I say unto you that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayed his coming. And this is why you see brothers dropping out. I remember brothers that, they seemed so deep. They knew history. They knew the scriptures. They memorized his voice. And I felt like nothing in comparison to these brothers. And then they abandoned the work. They abandoned the work. The Lord did not keep him in. And yet still, I see brothers that are very simple in the way they teach. They're still here. They're still doing the work. They're still doing something. And that says a lot. It says, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken. The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looked not for him, and an hour when that he's not aware of. So it doesn't matter if he was doing the work and then you say, you know what? I get a lot of things going for me. Why don't I just take some time off and go enjoy life? And this is a servant that don't know how to balance. He's all righteous when he's doing the work, but he's over wicked when he steps away. See how that works? And there's a balance. We warned about that. Not to kill ourselves being over righteous, but not to be overly wicked. You have to balance it out. Okay? You have to balance it out. Continuing, it says, and he shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There should be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Because see, in reality, you didn't believe. You got caught up in the bullshit out there. And Esau is very, very good at seducing jakes. Okay? Very good at seducing jakes. And so we can't fall for the seduction of the devil, Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man. Let's close over the book of Revelation 3 and 10, because we're in a time of this coming, and this is a very, very critical thing, because this is the judgment from the Lord, Yahweh himself, the Most High. And the Mashiach, okay, who we're ignorantly called Jesus Christ, is going to protect his portion that he was given, which is the 1/3 elect during this time. And this is not going to be as straightforward as people think. This is going to be a time of horrific tribulation on this earth. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. All the world that dwell upon the earth. And you know that there's different worlds: sea world, animal world, business world, finance world, sports world. Doesn't matter what tribe you're from. The Lord has set it up to where you will be tried. And we're looking to be the ones that is going to have that protection, okay, by the Mashiach during this time of trials that the Lord is going to bring on this entire earth. And that's the reason why we can't be distracted, no matter what you see around. Sometimes you do the best work in this world because you really actually don't give a crap about it, because you know there's something better. So you're not distracted. You don't even have to prove yourself. It's just natural. The Lord give you that strength and ability to be able to blend in, but you're actually not really in. You're actually out. And you're doing the will of the Lord, Yahweh Shai. So Lord will indeed, let us edify, let to close it by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakatash, Shalom.